Hey everyone, I'm Stephanie, host and head bookologist here at the Get Literate podcast. I'm a book loving, notebook hoarding reader and writer on a mission to change lives one book and one notebook at a time. On this podcast, we explore the power of books and reading and notebooks and writing to make life better and to feel better too. You'll find episodes exploring the reading and writing life and how it can make our actual lives better. You'll get book recommendations and notebook invitations around particular themes, and you'll meet authors and special guests who'll help us take inspired action in our own daily practices. So, grab a notebook and your TBR list, and let's get literate. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Get Literate podcast. I'm Stephanie Affinito, your host, back with another episode on how reading and writing can make life better. So I want to kick off today's episode by describing a reel that I have been watching on repeat for a couple of weeks. This was the most wonderful, perfect reel sent to me in an Instagram message that was all about book matchmaking. So I want you to picture this reel, and perhaps you've seen it. And if you'd like to actually see the literal reel that I was sent, then you can head to the show notes and you can find it there. But I want you to picture Taylor Swift and all her Taylor Swift glory with the sequins and the big flowing hair and the big eyes and red lips ready to sing. Right? And at the top of this reel, it says, when someone asks you for a book recommendation, and all of a sudden, Taylor Swift flips her head around, her hair goes flying, she looks dead straight into the camera with this look of, oh, me? And starts singing her song. And that song she sings is, nice to meet you, where you been? No, I cannot sing, but you know the song, right? So I want you to picture that. When someone asks you for a book recommendation, flip around, get that beautiful, oh my gosh, me, I've been waiting for you forever. And then you start to hear that sound. It is just the best reel. I have probably butchered how wonderful it is with my singing and my explanation, but it just gives me such bookish energy and bookish fun every single time I look at it. Because honestly, that is how it feels, right? When you are a bookish person and someone comes up to you and asks for just the most perfect book recommendation, you are there. You have been waiting for this moment forever and you just didn't know it, and you cannot wait to start sharing books. That's why I love this work so much. I take such pride and such joy in matching the right book to the right person at the right time. Maybe you've gotten a bookish postcard from me where I send you a personalized handwritten book recommendation on a postcard that looks like a library card. And maybe that's the way we've connected over books. Maybe you've worked with me and you've gotten a book apothecary, which is a collection of books I think are perfect for you based on the interactions that we've had. And for some of you, we've even done some one-to-one bibliotherapy coaching, where not only do I provide that book apothecary, but we talk about the books and we come back together to talk about the books again as you're reading them. And typically we add some writing and some journal prompts in there as well. That is the work I love, love, love to do. It is just the greatest joy when you know you've matched a book to someone, and especially when they come back and they tell you that you were spot on. Right? But some of us might want to do this work, and I'm saying work in air quotes because to me and you, probably bibliotherapy doesn't feel like work. It just feels like a wonderful reading life where those nudges and ideas start to come. But the question that I often get around this work, especially if you are a reader who wants to sink into bibliotherapy, but who wants to start doing it herself first, that big question is how? How do I do it? How do I pick the right book? Where do I find the right book? How do I know if that's going to be the book for me? Those are the kinds of questions that I want to talk about today, specifically zeroing in on how do you find those books that can make life better? How do you find those books that can heal? How do you find those books that are perfect for you in this moment? So let's start off with a quick overview of that bibliotherapy process. If you want to dive into bibliotherapy as a way to help yourself feel better, and you define better in whatever way works for you, there are a couple of steps to take. And of course, a couple of steps around finding the perfect book. So, the first thing you want to do, if you want to lean into your reading life as more as a self help kind of reading life, is to think about your current mood and your current need. Are you feeling anxious and overwhelmed? Are you feeling stuck or unmotivated? Maybe you're feeling lonely or disconnected, you're burnt out, you're tired, right? Or maybe you are on a journey of self-discovery, or you are leaning into your curiosity and seeking some new knowledge, or maybe you're in a space where you're trying to heal your inner child. Whatever your mood or need is, there's a book for that. So you start with that mood and need, right? And then you think about what you want your goal to be. Who do I want to be? How do I want to feel? And what do I want to do based on how I feel right now? So if you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, then your bookish goal would be for the book to soothe and perhaps calm your nervous system. If you're feeling stuck and unmotivated, your goal for your book would be to spark creativity and energy. If you're feeling disconnected or lonely, then your bookish goal is to feel seen and to feel connected. And if you're feeling burnt out or tired, then your goal is to have your books help you rest and restore. So your mood and your need translate to your goal for your bookish choice, which then leads into the kind of book that you choose. So you're feeling anxious and overwhelmed, and your goal for your book is to soothe and calm your nervous system, then you're probably going to want to choose a genre like a cozy fiction or a gentle memoir, or maybe even some lyrical poetry, right? You're going to get out something like The Comfort Book from Matt Haig. If you're feeling stuck and unmotivated and you want your book to spark your creativity and energy, then I recommend for you a collection of essays, some short stories, some inspirational nonfiction. You know, I could talk about Big Magic here by Elizabeth Gilbert, or maybe you get out Anne Lamont's Bird by Bird. Now, how about if you're feeling lonely or disconnected? You want to feel seen, you want to feel connected, you want to feel community. Well, then I recommend you go to some friendship stories, some really warm family sagas, not some of the more dramatic ones that I love, and of course, some uplifting nonfiction, right? I would tell you to get out The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams, or one of my favorite epistolary novels, Charing Cross Road by Helene Hanff. How about burnt out or tired, right? If you're burnt out or tired, you want to rest, you want to restore, you want a short, uplifting read so that you can finish it and feel accomplished and feel good. Maybe you get some books that are revolved around nature and comfort as well, because we know that the healing power of Mother Nature can help out with being burnt out and tired. So maybe you pick up Braiding Sweet Gas by Robin Wall Kimmerer. Or maybe you go to Charlie McKeesy's The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, right? Based on what your mood is and what your need is, you're going to choose a goal for your bookish choice, which is going to lead you to the book type, which is going to lead you to the title. Now, I just rattled off a couple of possibilities for you to show you some of the things you might think about. That is the kind of work that I love to do. But if you're doing this kind of work for yourself, you might get stuck, right? You know how to identify your mood and your need, certainly. You know how to identify your goal as a result of that need, certainly. But when it comes to the book type, and especially the example titles, that might be when you get stuck, right? Because here's the thing. If you knew which perfect book to read, you would choose it. But the simple fact is, you haven't read these books yet. So how do you know which one is right for you? How do you know if what you find on the pages is going to be perfect for your bibliotherapy? And here's the thing that hopefully can take the stress off of everyone listening. You don't know. You don't know if that book is going to be the perfect book. You haven't read it. And here's the thing, I don't know either when I recommend it to you. I can try based on my reading of the book and my understanding of you and what you want and what you're going through. But the simple fact is, the magic of bibliotherapy happens when the author and the book and the reader interact. And we can't predict that completely. But we can try by choosing books that we think will be perfect. You read them with an open heart and an open mind, and chances are you will find something there that is going to help you. So, where could you look? What steps could you take to set yourself up for the best book selection process possible? I have 5 things for you to consider when choosing your next book that is aligned with what your bibliotherapy goals for yourself might be. Okay, place number 1 are the obvious bibliotherapy guides and books. So there are 3 that I want to recommend to you today. The first is Bijal Shah's Bibliotherapy. Bijal has been on the podcast before. I will put links to her episodes into the show notes. When I think of bibliotherapy, she is who I think about. That book is what I think about. Not only does the book break down what bibliotherapy is and how you can do it, but it has a huge, exhaustive book list in the back for almost every possible need and mood that you can think of. Not only that, you could head to our website and get some extra bells and whistles in terms of book lists there. The second book that I would recommend, actually, I'll say the second and third because it's written by the same author, Ella Bertraud, and that is The Novel Cure and The Reading Cure. Again, both books that have information on using books to help you feel better, but also have a huge recommended section of book lists for you to take a look at. And then the third one is more recent that I have just read, which is Read Yourself Happy by Daisy Buchanan. Again, there are vignettes and there are tidbits of information on how to do this work, but then so many books based on how you're feeling. So if you want a Bible, so to speak, of books to go to when you need them the most, having those books or books like them on hand are going to be my first recommended go-to place. Now, next up, and not that these are in any particular order, but next up is to actually look at other bibliotherapy lists that are not in published books, but you might find online. I already mentioned Bijal on her website has a list of bibliotherapy books. If you go to my site, alitlife.com, I have book lists for adults and children. I keep saying I'm going to keep developing them and add more, and I just keep running out of time, but there are lists to get you started there. And if you go to your library or just search in bibliotherapy lists, libraries, you would be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't, but there are a lot of bibliotherapy lists that librarians have already curated and put out for public use, no matter where you live, to help you find the books you need. So a quick Google search of those bibliotherapy book lists might hit the jackpot for you. Now, up next, my recommendation is to get personal. Go to a bookseller or a librarian and say, here's what I want. Here's how I'm feeling. Here's the book type and the book genre I think I need. Do you have any recommended books for me? They will feel like Taylor Swift too, right? It is such a cool moment when someone comes to you with a specific request, like you've been waiting for it forever and ever, and have just the perfect book. And booksellers and librarians, they are surrounded by books. They know books. They read a bazillion books. If you just reach out and ask, I promise they will not only be so excited that you did, they will probably have multiple titles at the ready to share with you. Now, the fourth place that I recommend is to head online to your favorite blogs and your favorite podcasts, right? Just do a little bit of searching. I love going to Anne Bogle's What Should I Read Next? I love going to Currently Reading. I love going to Jules at Literary Lifestyle online. I love going to the Book Club Girls. I love going to She Reads. There are so many wonderful, beautiful book blogs, so many that you run out of time looking at them. But if you have a couple of favorites that you know you love, just go there and type in a couple of keywords that you're looking for into the search bar, and you'll likely get a couple of lists that pop up, or perhaps you'll just get a book that jumps out at you. And that could be the one book you need. And now, my fifth way to find books for yourself is to literally just go to Google. Go to Google or perhaps even ChatGPT and say, this is how I'm feeling. This is the kind of book I want. What titles do you recommend? Right? That would be more of a ChatGPT search. But you can just go to Google and say, books to get unstuck, books to beat loneliness, books to help spark creativity, and you will find them. The podcasts will come up, the blogs will come up, the book lists from the libraries, they will come up. So if you just do a little reflection on what your mood is and your related need, how that corresponds to your bookish goal and the kind of book type and genre that you want, typing in a few of those keywords into Google is going to get you a whole bunch of lists that you could then take a look at. But here's the thing. I don't want you to get stuck in analysis paralysis. I don't want you to get stuck in decision fatigue of which one do I read next? Which is the best one, right? As I said, there is no way to know. There is no way to know. But here's what I truly believe. I truly believe that books find us for a reason. Books are put in front of us because they do have the potential to change things for us, to make us feel better, to help us escape, to give us a little something of what we need. So my best advice is to literally just pick one. And if that one is feeling good, you keep reading it. If it's not, and you realize that that's not the book for you, you have full permission, no matter how many pages you are into the book, to put it aside and say, not right now. Maybe not ever, but saying not right now is often an easier way to abandon a book for all of you that have a hard time doing that. Because if you wait, then the book that could be meant for you and could be the game changer, right? You're not getting to that book fast enough, if at all. So pick one. If it feels good, keep reading. If not, not right now it, and then move on to the next book with the expectation that those books that are in front of you are there for a reason and you're going to find something in the pages. And perhaps that's when you get out your nudge notebook that we explored a couple of episodes ago to start keeping track of what those nudges are and really make the most out of your own personalized self-help bibliotherapy practice. So I hope this got you thinking. I hope you have a quick and easy way to start looking at your reading life through the lens of bibliotherapy. You have 5 ways to find those books for yourself. Books that are specifically focused on bibliotherapy, bibliotherapy lists online, booksellers and librarians, blogs and podcasts, and a good old-fashioned Google search and ChatGPT. Can I say a good old-fashioned ChatGPT search? A good old-fashioned search made easier with technology tools. But I want to remind you, I am here waiting to have my own Taylor Swift moment if you reach out and would like a book recommendation. Whether that's a free book postcard that could come in the mail to you, a quick book apothecary where you fill out a quick Google form and I send you back some books, or maybe even some live interaction with me. I'm here if you want to deepen your bibliotherapy practice and get some books recommended to you, especially from me. So you can find me at alitlife.com. You can click all of the links in the show notes to all of those places, or just reach out on social media at AfinitoLit, and I will be there waiting to flip my hair around and give you that Taylor Swift look where I am so excited to chat with you about books. Thank you for listening, everyone. I hope that you are now ready to dive into your own bibliotherapy with a little more gusto and a lot more confidence on where to choose and how to find those books. I'll see you in the next episode. And until then, happy reading, everyone. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Get Literate podcast. You'll find links to all of the books, resources, and ideas mentioned on the episode in the show notes and at alitlife.com. And if you want more, you might like to join my Substack community. There, you'll find additional inspiration for your reading and writing life, like bonus podcast episodes, bibliotherapy book calendars, monthly book clubs, notebooking inspiration, live events, giveaways, and much more. It's only $5 a month, and you'll get instant access to all of the previous content too. You can learn more at getliterate.co. And one more thing. If you love what you listened to today, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast, or take a screenshot of the episode and text it to a bookish friend. This helps the podcast grow and builds our bookish and notebookish communities too. Thanks for listening.